Okay, as you go through this video, please note that there may be some time where you think that the video goes too fast. Please make sure that you pause the video anytime that you need to go back and get notes. So we are talking about the volume of the salsa missing from the jar. Well, I know that this volume of salsa is a cylinder. Okay, so I'm going to take my volume of a cylinder, which is volume equals pi r squared times height. Now, the salsa here has 4 centimeters, and there's 10 centimeters total. So what I need to find is that missing space in there. So I'm going to take 10 minus 4, which gives me 6. So I'm going to plug those numbers in. Volume is pi is 3.14. My radius squared, that would be 5 times 5, which is 25, times 6, which is my height. Take a second to plug those in, and you should get 471 centimeters cubed. Next, a necklace is made up of 51 beads, each with a diameter of 1 centimeter. What is the total volume of glass included in the necklace? Well, if the diameter is 1, that means that my radius is 0.5. So I need to go ahead and figure that out first for one bead. So volume of a cylinder is 4 pi r cubed times 3. Now, if I take my 0.5, that's my radius, to the third power, I can go ahead and plug those in. And as I work through this, I am going to see that that is 0.52. Now, that is for one bead. I need to take it times 51 because I do have 51 beads, and I get a total of 26.7 centimeters cubed. All right, a tank roller on the road. So I've got this roller that crushes concrete. It is filled with water to make the roller heavy. The tank is a cylinder. It has a height of 6 and a radius of 2. So I'm going to go ahead and redraw what that's going to look like. Oh, geez. Sorry. I'm going to redraw what that's going to look like. So it's got a radius of 2 and a height of 6. So I'm going to have to put my formula for a cylinder. Volume equals pi r squared times height. Fill in your radius squared, which would be 4. Your height is 6, and then I should get 75.36. Multiply that out. Now, if you're working through those, what you need to do is you need to then take it times 62.5, because it says 1 cubic foot weighs 62.5 pounds. So if I multiply that out, I get a total of 4,710 pounds of that roller. That's how heavy that roller is. Okay, 3 tennis balls. I feel like you guys have seen a question like this before, so hopefully you're able to envision this. It says 3 tennis balls with a radius of 1.3 inches will fit perfectly into a cylinder container. When all 3 balls are in the can, how much empty space surrounds them? Well, I need to go ahead and start with the volume of a tennis ball. Okay, so I'm looking here at this bottom one, and I've got my radius is 1.3, and it's going to be, remember my formula for volume is 4 pi r cubed times 3, so I'm going to go ahead and write that out. 1.3 to the third, that's going to be 2.197. And so now I can multiply those together and divide by 3. And I should get 9.2 inches cubed. Now what I need to do is I need to take that times 3. Because there are 3 tennis balls total, that gives me my total volume of 27.6 inches. Okay? What I need to figure out is my volume of the cylinder. Well, you see that each tennis ball has a radius of 1.3. So 1.3 and 1.3, 1.3 and 1.3, 1.3 and 1.3. So all the way up, that counts as the radius of 1.3. If I add those all together, I get 7.8 as my height. My radius is then 1.3. So I'm going to use my formula for a cylinder, pi r squared times height, and plug it in. So I'm going to get my volume is going to be 3.14 times 1.69 times 7.8. When I multiply those all together, I get 41.4. So that becomes a question of how much space is left over. So in order to figure that out, I have to subtract the 2 to get 13.8. And that 13.8 inches fills in the sides. Okay, ice cream scoops. You have an ice cream. Okay, let's talk about some ice cream. So I've got an ice cream scoop with a 3-inch diameter. That's going to give me my ice cream here on top, right? My ice cream scoop is, why is that not writing? My ice cream scoop is going to be a 3-inch, there we go, 3-inch diameter. Okay, that means my radius is going to be 1.5, okay? And then it has the cone, and it says that the cone has a 3-inch diameter as well and a height of 5. Again, that means my radius is 1.5. If you place a scoop of ice cream on the cone and let the ice cream melt, will it spill over before you eat it? Okay, so let's do the cone. Volume equals pi r squared times height divided by 3. So that would be 3.14. Radius squared, which would be 1.5 squared. My height would be 5, and then I'm going to divide by 3. Well, 1.5 squared gives me 2.25. So I now need to multiply those out. And I should get 11.775. Or we could say 11.8. Okay. Now I'm going to move to my ice cream scoop. So the volume of a sphere is 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. Well, that would be 4 times 3.14 r to the third power. So that's 1.5 to the third power is actually 3.375. Okay. So then I divide by 3. Let's multiply that out. 14.13. Volume equals 14.13. Okay, so this is my ice cream. And this is my ice cream cone. What you will notice is my ice cream is larger. So is it going to melt over? Yes, it absolutely is. It is going to melt over. Okay, next we are talking about a bale of hay. A traditional square bale of hay is actually in the shape of a rectangular prism. Its dimensions are 2 by 2 by 4. I want you to go ahead and draw a bale of hay. 2 by 2 by 4. Okay, I've got my bale that I'm drawing right here. If I multiply those out together, 2 by 2 by 4, oh goodness, that's going to give me 16 feet. Okay, 16 feet squared. Now, here's my other bale of hay that they are drawing for me. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Got my round bale of hay. I notice that my radius is 2 because diameter is 4. So I do my formula for a cylinder. Volume equals pi r squared times height. Okay, so then I plug those in. Pi is 3.14. Radius squared is 4. Height is 5. Multiply them together, and I get 62.8. Now it says, how many of these can fit into here? So I know that that's a division problem. So I'm going to take 62.8, and I'm going to divide that by 16. And you should get 3.9. Well, 3.9 is pretty darn close to 4, so we're going to do approximately 4 square bales of hay. A swimming pool. A cylinder swimming pool has a diameter of 16 and a height of 4. Let's go ahead and fill that in on my pool up here. So it has a diameter, we won't use, of 16, a height of 4. Okay, how many gallons of water can the pool contain? Okay, so let's do a cylinder. Volume equals pi r squared times height. Well, volume equals 3.14. My radius is actually half of 16, which is 8. So 8 squared is 64 times my height, which is 4. So 3.14 times 64 times 4. That gives me 803.84. Now that I have that, sorry, I'm not stopping those. And so what I'm going to do now is I need to take this. This is feet cubed. So I need to then figure out how much water is in there. So if 1 foot is 7.5 gallons, I know that the rest is going to be, so I'd have to take that times 7.5. So 803.84 times 7.5. So I get a total of 6,028.8. That would be gallons of water. That's a lot of water. Okay, next question asks me, it says, if water comes out of the hose at 10 gallons per minute, how long would it take? Well, that seems like it could be an easy division problem. I'm just going to divide by 10 because I'm going to take it into groups of 10. So if I divide that by 10, I get 602.8, or let's say 603 minutes. So if minutes is what I'm looking for, it's going to take me 603 minutes. Well, I work better with hours, and I know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. So let's divide that by 60, which basically means it's going to take me 10.048, roughly 10 hours to fill it. So those of you that have a pool, does it take you roughly 10 hours to fill a pool this size? I think that's about right. All right, our last question. You must answer a trivia question before the sand in the timer falls to the bottom. The sand falls at a rate of 50 cubic millimeters per second. How much time do you have to answer the question? So I don't need to worry about this guy at the bottom at all. All I need to worry about is the cone on the top. Volume of a cone is pi r squared times height divided by 3. Let's fill that in. Volume equals 3.14. My radius, okay, I need to figure out just the sand. How much sand do I have? Well, it's going to be just 10 millimeters across. So that would be, let's see, 10 times 10 is 100. And then I need to take that times my height, which is 24, and I'm going to divide all that by 3. And I'm going to get 2,512. And that would be millimeters cubed. Now this says the sand falls at a rate of 50 cubic millimeters per second. Oops. 50 cubic millimeters per second. So let's go ahead and divide this by 50. And then that's going to tell me how many seconds I have. I have 50.24 seconds to answer my trivia question.